What's going on, you guys? It's a little dark in here. Just in the parking lot of Amazon. Let's see if I could turn it around. There we go. So, just got out of work. I started at 2:30 p.m. Let me not do that. Give some people privacy. I gotta turn on the heater really quick. Let me turn it around for you guys. Alright, so I'm in my S10 right now. Let me get comfortable really quick. So, yeah, what I was saying, I work at Amazon. Schedule is usually 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. I do pick up shifts. Let's see, today I picked up another shift from, I'm trying to remember. It was 7:40 to 2:10 a.m. So I just got done, and it's, let's see, it's 2:56 right now. I'm sitting in my truck, and the reason I'm sitting in my truck is, let's say 2 hours in my first shift. So it was like 4:30 when I got my break. I went outside to my truck, and I saw that my rear right tire went flat. And that was a surprise, because earlier the day, before I went to work, I went down the street where I lived and replaced the tire, because I woke up to the truck having the rear right tire flat. And right now it's currently my only vehicle. My other ones I'm working on. Excuse me. I just got the BMW back. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's 2012 BMW 335 IS. It's has a little bit of modifications. I do have all the supporting mods to max out the engine, and later on, if I were to build the internals, I would have to upgrade the 6466 turbo I have from Doc Racing to a bigger one to pretty much make 1,000 plus horsepower. So you kind of surprised there. I wasn't expecting to see anybody on the stream. So back to the 335S. I went down to North Carolina from Connecticut to pick it up. How's it going? To pick it up, and how do you say this? The reason I got it was because the vehicle I had before was a 2008 335 XI, the all-wheel drive coupe version of it. I loved it. The only down part about it was all-wheel drive. They don't really hold that much power. Why don't you support local black businesses? I don't know how we got to that. I did not mention anything about that. That's actually interesting. If you want to get into it, I'm more than happy to talk about it. But yeah, so I had the all-wheel drive 335 XI with the M55 motor in it. It got sideswiped by U-Haul, which it wasn't the driver's fault. Their tie rod broke, and they lost control of the vehicle, and it ended up scraping the side of my vehicle, taking out the control arm on the front left wheel, caving in the left rear wheel in, and yeah, that wasn't great. I love the car. I had built it. Let's see, let's go over the mods. I had a black market part forward intake manifold to aftermarket charge pipe from Doc Racing, to a 7.5 downstep intercooler, to 2-inch upgraded inlets, and then to 19T's TD04 version 4 turbos that maxed out at 750. And from there I had built custom intakes. The intakes, I just got some aluminum pipe, cut them, bought a couple 90-degree couplers, and just bought some cheap discounted air filters from AutoZone, and that worked out. It saved me a lot. Instead of going through another company, I think I built them, let's see, under $75. Hold on. This person is making me laugh. Texas Juice G-Man. When did you get out of jail? I've never been in jail, but that's interesting. When did you catch the pedal charges again? You guys trying to get me in trouble here or something? I'm making up all this random funny stuff. You guys are gonna make my night or morning. Bring it on. I'm ready to talk about it. Just make sure you have the proof, back it up, and get deeper into it. So, so back to the 335xi. Let's see. So it was the turbos, upgraded turbos, the built intakes, and what else did I do? Oh, I bought the B58 coil packs from, I think it was Nexus or something like that. Then I also forgot to mention I had 750cc fuel injectors, and what else? I got the tune on it. It was MHD and Motive, I believe. I think it was those two right at the moment. I had, before that I had JB4, which is awesome. I love the fact that you could just control your tune on the steering wheel and it would just tune automatically. So every time I would just throw a part in, I'll just put I think map 5, and it would always auto tune, and it was great. And the best part about it, I could just start maxing out the ethanol content or the stock fuel pump, and it would always tune out for it until I put in a double 450 Walbros, I believe it was. And then I ran into a problem, which buckleless is not the greatest thing you want to have, because you definitely want to have more than 3/4 of a tank. And whenever you go into turns or drive really fast, it starts moving, your fuel starts moving, and you definitely don't want that, because that's when you start starving your engine and you run into problems, and you can starve your engine and things go bad there. You definitely don't want that. So let me turn the heater down. So yeah, I'm just here in the parking lot, just waiting for my tow truck to come by. Hopefully tomorrow I could get the tire, and we'll get the tire back to the shop and have them replace the valve stem. And hopefully that's the fix on the tire and not a cracked rim, which I definitely don't want. So yeah, so once that got totaled, the 335xi got totaled out. Took some time, and I found a 335S. At that time, they were going for 21,000. I could afford it at the time, but I held off because other stuff in life came by, and thankfully I'm pretty grateful that happened, because I think it was like a couple months later I seen that all the B 335s S's had dropped in price. So the one I was looking at was for 21,000, and later it dropped down to 17,500 for the vehicle, which I picked it up and it was great. I saved about almost like 4,000 on it, and I got lucky. As soon as they dropped down the price, I took the opportunity, went down to North Carolina and picked it up. I think it was like a 12-hour drive back to Connecticut, which was pretty nice because it was just me and just knowing the car, and that was great. And then the 335S comes with 20 extra horsepower on top of the other models, which would be the 335XI, the all-wheel drive version, or the 335i, which is the rear-wheel drive version. And the difference of the 335IS to the other two is it's the fully loaded and packaged rear-wheel drive version of the car. And if you could definitely afford to get it, you want to get it, especially because they only made so many of those 335S's in the US, so they're pretty rare to find. And then on top of that, mine has the white interior, which makes it even harder to find. So it is pretty rare and special. I do love the vehicle, and pretty grateful for it. So yeah, that's the story about me picking up the 335 LS. And let's see, I do have a Chevy Cruze. It's a 2012 Chevy Cruze 1.4 Eco. It's an automatic. I think I've seen that it makes about 120 horsepower, which isn't that great, but the car is turboed. That's the best part about having that car. It's turbo, which means you can make so much power real easy, and all you really need is a tune just to get like 20 to 30 more horsepower out of it, and then you can start slapping more parts on it and making more power much easier than if you were to get a naturally aspirated vehicle, which you would have to change like the intake, the air filter, exhaust, cams, if any, lifters, a lot of things just to make a little extra more horsepower compared to turbo vehicle. You could put in ethanol, and right there will give you like an extra 30 horsepower about. And then just with ethanol, if you have it there, you could upgrade the air intake system on it, so it brings in cooler air. So if you upgrade your intake, your charge pipe, the tubings for your intercooler, and the intercooler itself, you're already cooling the engine down with colder ambient air, which definitely help you provide will help you make more horsepower. And then on top of that, you want to change the downpipe and resonator, so more air coming in, more air coming out, better, quicker, easier flow, which means the engine has to work less and starts performing better. So 3 things I just want to put out there: fuel, air, and ignition are the 3 things you want to work on when you're tuning your car. Once you start getting more air, you're going to want to start getting more fuel in. And once you have more fuel and air in, you're going to need a bigger spark to ignite that fuel and air mixture coming in. And that's where you'll start getting more power. So that's a little bit about the Cruze. Now we get deeper into it. performance parts on there. Right now, I have a flex fuel sensor from GM. I ordered off of Amazon. I popped that in, made my own NA. I think they're NA fittings. I can't remember exactly what kind of the name of the fittings, but they're meant for fuel. So I built one and then I wired it into my computer. I found the schematics online and I was finding out where to run the power, the signal, and the ground. And it's pretty simple. It's just finding the only thing difficult about it is just finding the pins, the right size pin to put at the end of the wire to plug into your ECU. So once I did that, I was able to find out my ethanol content, and I'm able to put in more than, I can't remember exactly, but with the flex fuel sensor and my tune, which I have from B&R, I want to say Bad New Racing, with that device I can find out exactly how much ethanol I have in my vehicle with the help of the flex fuel sensor. And with that, I can run more ethanol too. And another thing is, I have like 2 pumps in my state, and the closest one, every time I fill up my tank, I see about 50% mixture, which is pretty awesome. Seeing that that's usually constant, it's about 50% mixture. I would love to get higher, but I think I would have to upgrade to, like, I think Sunoco or ethanol. I would say like performance ethanol and like barrels. Like, I can't remember exactly. That would probably be the best way to go to get better ethanol rating, I want to say. So that's the fueling on that. Let's see what else. I bought an eBay intake. I took that off because it kept giving me problems. I didn't like it. I would try to retune for it, and it kept giving me problems, so I just ditched it. I'm back to the stock airbox. I did do the PCV delete. So with that, I think I bought it from Dave's Cruze. I gotta look back, but there's a channel out there that this gentleman specializes in Chevy Cruzes, and he sells a couple parts from his house that works with the Chevy Cruze I have. So I bought the PCV fix and the PCV reroute lines. I have to double check, but pretty much I went into the intake manifold, tapped a baffle, closed it up, and then with the lines he provided me, it reroutes to the turbo, so in the future there's no problems with the PCV going off on you. And then if I ever get a catch can, I could just unplug 2 hoses and plug them into the catch can, which is pretty great, which I actually had before, but the catch can was from eBay and it was leaking and it was giving me codes, so I ditched that. So what else do I have? Oh, I have a throttle body spacer. It was like only $50-$60, so it was pretty cheap. I do plan on putting either methanol or a boost gauge in it, and it has 2 ports for it, I believe, so that will work out great. Let's see, I have an eBay intercooler. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm definitely gonna try that out and see if I can fabricate my own. What else? Oh yeah, I just found out my catalytic converter went out on the Chevy Cruze, and I had took it to the Chevy dealership, and they said, well, they quoted me about a little over $3,000 for a new catalytic converter, and I didn't like that, because $3,000 for a new cat is pretty expensive. I understand why, the better option for me, as I am tuning that car, was going catless downpipe, which I ended up purchasing from B&R, and hopefully after Christmas and before New Year's it should be home, and try to put up a video of it as soon as I get it done. I will have to wait like 2 weeks to see. I have to get it retuned, so once I put the downpipe in, I have to tune for it, wait till I get hear back from the tuner, and then update his tune onto the vehicle. Alright, so let's see what else. I think that's it for performance on the vehicle. It's not much. In the future, I do plan on porting the intake manifold. Let's see, adding methanol, possibly upgrading the fuel pump. Either I think it's like 250, 225 inline, or I might go to a Walbro 450. I have to double check before I go through it, because I have seen that the limit on that car is the transmission at the moment. About 250 horsepower is the most that the transmission will hold up until it starts giving out. So if I get to that horsepower rating, I might switch over to a manual transmission from the same vehicle. I've also heard that the Chevy Cobalt transmission could be fitted on that vehicle, and those vehicles did come supercharged and turbo depending which model you got. I believe the 4-door Cobalt came supercharged and the 2-door came turboed, which is pretty cool. So I'll definitely have to look into that, see if that transmission will work on the Cruze. If not, then I'll just find a manual transmission from another Cruze, either the 1.4 or the 2.0, and try to swap that in. And then on top of that, I would have to upgrade the lifters, the valves, and swap out the turbo to get up to 250. And if I'm going to do all that, I might as well do the internals myself. It does seem pretty simple. When I was at school for this in Colorado, one of the cool things was I was able to break down one of these engines, the 1.4 Chevy Cruze engine, way before I even knew I was gonna get one myself. So seeing how easy and small the engine I was able to work with, and looking at now, all I have to do is take out the engine, put in a stand, and I will be able to swap in the upgraded internals and everything else, and that'll be it. So let's see. For the turbo on the Chevy Cruze, I'll probably go with, right now, probably B&R, one of their turbos. If not, I might look into a Garrett turbo. I'm still not sure. I think that's about it. I want to definitely get the car about 300 horsepower, I want to say. It is pretty light, and for being a small light car like that, 300 horsepower is a lot, and it'll get it moving. Let's see. So at first, when the car made 120 horsepower, it was okay, but once I added the small modifications on it, I think it pushed it to 150 horsepower, and it definitely does make a difference. So if I could double that, 150 to 300, that'll definitely be throwing me back in my seat, and that's all I really need. Well, on top of upgraded tires and suspension too, because I definitely don't want to make 300 on the stock suspension and have it just bouncing around, doing like 60 or whatever it is, or a small pole. And then I definitely will need to upgrade the tires, something stickier. Say like, which ones did I have? I had these entry level street performance tires on the BMW, and it was just stock at 300. It held it up great. The car was a little heavier than the cruze, so you did feel it lose a little grip, but because the cruze is lighter, those tires would definitely help out and hold the 300. And with the weight, I just can't remember what they were. They're pretty popular. If I don't know if I want to get more into it. The only thing I could describe is like the tread is just all it is just grooves in it to this. Yeah, I don't want to go into it. Yeah, so that's about the cruze. And then I have the S10. It's a 2004 Chevy S10 Zr5 4-door. I lifted it through, who was the company? I think I'm trying to remember. Rough Country was the lift kit I went with. It was the 2.5 to 4 inch lift kit on it, and that took me about a year to finish. That's kind of my fault. I lost like motivation towards the end of the year, so I just left it in my driveway. I was trying to build a kit myself. I saw how, like, what I thought was simple, through their website, Rough Country. All I needed to do was fabricate a drop bracket for the front diff, which I did do, but later to come find out, my tolerance were there. Metal was warped, and it was definitely not gonna do right to the front diff. And I didn't want to do that kind of damage, like having it misalign and having everything else not perform right. So I gave up on that and decided to go with Rough Country, which was overall much better and easier than just fabricating my own. So, oh, and on to Rough Country. The problem I ran into, my front right CV axle, I seen the boot had torn. I don't know if I need to get the extended CV axle to help it out, but that's an issue I ran into. Anybody could help me out. Another issue I ran into was the instructions on it. It didn't tell me to take off the sway bar. I don't think I really looked into that or thought about it, but it wasn't the greatest decision putting the sway bar back on the vehicle, because I didn't have anywhere else to put it or leave it. So, and then that messed my inner outer tie rods, especially on the right side, because the sway bar was touching the tie rods, and it did crack the boot, so I need to definitely replace those. What else is there? Oh, with the front right CV axle, there's a lot of noise that comes with it, because I think it's the wrong CV axle. There's a lot of like binding and metal scraping, and that's not good, because definitely don't want to hear clunking or any noises when I'm turning the wheel. What else do I have? Performance parts. I don't think I have. I don't have any performance parts on the S10. It's just the V6 vortex that comes in the S10. It is pretty nice having a V6 compared to the 4-cylinder. Um, the only downside is for a V6, it gets the same gas mileage as a V8 minus the 2 cylinders. Which, if I had the 2 cylinders, it would be awesome. Just having a V8 and an S10. But maybe that's something for the future, an engine swap in the S10. Um, what else? What else? I previously had 31-inch tires that went pretty great with the lift. It looked great. It filled the wheel arches in, but it scrapes. When you turn the wheel, the edge of the tread will scrape the front of the bumper, and you definitely don't want that because it started ripping part of my bumper off, and yeah. So I had to how do you say? I had to go smaller size. I went with 29s, and those fit perfectly. Those no scraping, no rubbing, no nothing. So if you ever get the lift, I recommend 29-inch tires. Any bigger than that, you're gonna run into some rubbing issues. Um, let's see. I think I got ahead of myself too. Before I went rough country and tried to fabricate my own, I actually got the shackle and torsion key off of eBay. That was actually the cheapest, greatest, best option I could have gotten. Because that really didn't do any damage to my suspension or steering components compared to when I went rough country. I did run into a lot of problems. I want to say some of it was me, some of it was rough country. Both different kind of lifts I had did tear up the front right CV axle, so something's going on there. My inner and outer tie rod's still good with the shackle and torsion key. I really didn't run into any steering component problems with those two parts I added. Let's see. So I think that's about it for the rough country lift on the S10. It does need a lot of work, a lot of body work. The doors make a lot of noises, just open and close, and you can feel it kind of just drop when you open the driver's door, which isn't great. Yeah, but it gets me to A and B right now. Oh, and another thing, let me see if I can show you guys. The gauge cluster is going on, and when I start driving, it just lights up like Christmas tree. The component right, the fuel gauge just going left and right, all wonky. You see it say low on gas. That guy right there, the oil, will just be inaccurate. It'll always stay down there. It won't go right there past the halfway mark, which is usually what you get when you start driving, and about there when you're just cruising. The service engine light, that guy is because the coolant temp sensor. I'll replace that. I don't know why it came back on. I want to say maybe something electrical. If not, it's the whole instrument panel, because yeah, that does go wonky or crazy whenever I start driving. I'll say my airbags right now, which is nothing wrong with it. My ABS and my brake lights go on. Nothing. It doesn't affect the vehicle like performance or drivability. It just lights up like a Christmas tree, and it gets annoying. Oh yeah, it only has 86,000 miles. I picked up this vehicle in Colorado when I was stationed out there. I believe it had like 66,000 miles on it, and I've only put in 20,000, and I had it for a little bit over 5 years. And the crazy part about it, 1 month after I got this truck, it was stolen right out of my driveway, um, which sucked because I was literally the day after when all this happened, I had an appointment to go to the DMV to register the vehicle. So I didn't even get a chance to register the vehicle and put in my name before it got stolen. And the even crazier part about the story is I actually actually tried hunting down the vehicle with my friend, seeing if I could find it all over Colorado Springs, and I actually drove by this vehicle. I drove this. How do you say this? When I was driving down the street, I saw this truck, the green Chevy S10, and I'll tell you later on how I knew that was my truck, my stolen truck in somebody's driveway. Um, how do you say this? So yeah, me and my friend were looking for this truck, and I was looking for a basket. I put a cargo basket on top of the truck just to give it a distinct look. And when I drove down the street and I saw the green Chevy S10, I didn't see a basket, so I just didn't really mind it. I didn't look into it or nothing like that. So 3 months later, I get a call from the police station or the police impound telling me that, hey, we recovered your vehicle. Please come down and get it. And I was happy they recovered it. I was excited. And when I was on the phone with them, I asked them if they had any information, where it was recovered, what was going on. And yeah, when I got there, I was given the information where the truck was recovered, and it was recovered. It was, so how do you say this? So when I saw the truck earlier, before with my friend when I was hunting it down, where I saw it was the address that the police had given me, that where they recovered the truck. So if I actually stopped and took time to go look at the vehicle, I would have recovered and found the truck all on my own before the police did. So that was the crazy part. I actually saw my vehicle in someone else's driveway. I really didn't think about it, and then later on, the police had told me that, yep, where you found it is where we recovered it. So that was crazy. When I got the truck back, battery was stolen. The positive and negative terminal were ripped off. I had to fabricate my own. They had messed with the starter. They had like rigged up 2 wires from the fuse box into the cabinet, which they were touching to start their vehicle. The whole ignition was, how do you say, you can't really see it here, it was ripped open. There's wires. The security was all messed up. Truck was drivable. It just it was, you could tell it was obviously messed with just to start it without a key. And later on, when I how do you say, 2 years later, when I moved back to Connecticut, I actually had the time and money to start working on the truck, and I had to replace pretty much everything on the steering wheel just to get it running. And once I did that, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the truck started, so I had to take it down to the shop, and thankfully they got that fixed for me. So yeah, that's the crazy part about this vehicle, that it was stolen. I saw it, and then it got recovered. What else can I say? I guess the future plans for this would be putting a V8 in it. I want to say a 5.3, maybe a 5.7. I've seen those fit perfectly without issues. 5.7 is the best way to go, as you can literally, everything on the V6 Vortex will work with the 5.7. And that makes it so much easier, less fabrication or cutting or mods to the subframe and connection and wiring harnesses. or wiring harness. The 5.3 you do have to do some modification and buy extra parts. So that would be the 5.7 would be the way to go. I'm not sure if I want to supercharge it turbo or keep it NA. All three of them sound great. I love an NA souped up V8. Definitely, if I go supercharger, it would probably be from the, I think the 6.3 engine, the LS engines that come with the superchargers from factory. Definitely want to go that way. If not, I will. Seeing how the engine bay is small and tight in there, probably single turbo. I would love to do twin turbos on it, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see later on in the future how that goes. If I were to go NA, I definitely want to go with a bigger intake manifold, upgraded exhaust, probably mess with the internals. Probably get like a choppier lobe cam on it, and definitely put nitrous on it. It wouldn't be much. It'll probably be like depending how the engine is, if it's like low mileage, 50 shop, maybe 100, it could definitely handle 50, no problem. So that's about it for that. I don't know what else I got for you guys. So those are my three vehicles at the moment. I do have an ATV. I don't have much on it. I do take it out. I have some videos of it. Like, if you guys would love to check it out. I think in the future for that, I might go with rims from a 500 or 600cc. I do like the looks of them, so I'll definitely do that for that vehicle. And I do have some light pods I want to put on that. What else? I don't know what else I want to do on that ATV. Right now it's just sitting in storage, just waiting for it to snow so I can use the plow. You'll probably see a video later on me plowing my driveway and drifting around in the parking lot, so stay tuned for that. I don't know what else. I used to have 2 bikes, got rid of them. Hopefully in the future I'll pick up another one, maybe 2 more, I'm not sure. Yeah, oh, the bikes. It was a black 2013 Kawasaki 650 Ninja. I bought brand new when I was in Colorado. 0 mileage, brand new of the year 2013. It had a Power Commander 5 on it. Did change the front and rear sprocket, and I did put a gear indicator, because the vehicle doesn't tell you, or the bike doesn't tell you which gear it is, and that was a little annoying. So I had put one of those guys in. That helped a lot. I did change the handles on it to shorties. That was pretty nice, because I do tend to use my 2 fingers for the clutch and brake. And what else? Integrated tail lights, because I did eliminate the stock ones. That was pretty nice. And then to my other bike, it was a 2008 Suzuki 600 Gixxer or GSXR. I love that thing. That thing will throw me back. And compare the 600 to the 650. It had so much horsepower, so much top end. The 650 had a lot more torque than the 600, so it would always take off from the line quicker than the 600. But that maxed out at 140, so that wasn't great. So I'm gonna have to leave you guys here because my tow truck is here. So I'll catch you guys later. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more.